What's going on, everybody? It is December 5th, NFP week, and I wanted to kind of go over some of the action in one of the trades that I took today. Normally, I don't trade the day before NFP, but today I did. The entry was good. There was a few mistakes that I made. The trade could have worked out. I moved my stop loss too quick, and there was actually price action as it moved later on in the day. Got a lot clearer, so I'll kind of go through that also. So today I was kind of looking at, first at the calendar. So all we have was unemployment claims, right? And normally this week is really volatile, a lot of choppiness, especially the day before NFP. Price action can be really nuts and volatile, like I said previously. So looking at the chart, starting out on the daily, I knew right here from yesterday's daily candle, we had buy side liquidity here. So knowing we literally have three pushing daily green candles, and when that happens, usually we have either some consolidation for a few days or a retracement or the start of a reversal. So I knew today's price action would be kind of up and down. Then moving down to the 4 hour, again, we had a 4 hour fair value gap here where I had marked out. I wasn't sure if we would move down to that area. I think continuing into tomorrow, maybe news will push us down in this area. And then we also had a small 4 hour fair value gap here, which I had marked earlier today. Let me kind of expand this so you guys can see it. And that actually was a draw for today. Let me see, 4 hour fair value gap. And then dropping down to the 1 hour, you can see there was a 1 hour right here, which we came down and filled and then moved back in. And that was where my draw was, right under the relative equal lows going into the day. So dropping down to the 15-minute here was, let me kind of fix the screen here. So going into today where price started out, moved up, we took out buy side, daily buy side liquidity. So I knew at that time, normally on days like this, you're going to have seek and destroy kind of back and forth, taking out liquidity levels for the day. So my draw was the relative equal lows, right? So I saw these relative equal lows on the 1 hour and 15-minute, and then SMT, and then also buy side daily liquidity was taken out, which I thought this was A plus setup, as far as where price would go. On a normal day, I think it would have just shot straight down, like it was a no-brainer. But going down into the 5-minute, I could see here that we were pushing out, holding this this order block here. Price held here, then we moved back, just nipped it, and then going in here, pushed back up. Prices kept holding below this order block, came down, kind of moved around, and eventually hit the relative equal lows, right? So going down to the 1 minute, I'll kind of show you guys what I did and what I did wrong. So going here, you can see price came up, pushed down, going in here, we're going in the 950, 1010 macro, and I saw price push up. Again, SMT took out buy side liquidity, so I'm thinking we're going down. So right in here around consequent encroachment, when price is pushing down, I actually got into my trade. So I'll show you guys my my executions here, right? So going into here, pushing down off the 5-minute order block, pushed down, came, and then once this pushed down, because I knew price would be choppy, I had my price above this high, which it never came back, and I moved it to 2150, 21,536.50, and that's where I got in. So I was what is that, a quarter of a point from getting stopped out. If I would have just left it here, the price would have went down and hit my relative equal lows, right? So it came back down, chopped around, and eventually hit here at the relative, let me move this over, relative equal lows. And it kind of bounced around after around on this 1 hour fair value gap. But to be honest, I was actually working too. So if I would have been smart, when we came down to the consequent encroachment of this fair value gap at 500, we're 10 points away. I would have probably taken 80% of my contracts off, maybe 4 micros, and just let the other one ride. But again, I wasn't paying close attention. I was just letting it run because I knew I was at break even. And that goes to show you should be paying attention all the time. So if I would have been paying attention, I could have knocked off 4. I wouldn't have moved my stop loss. I'd have been fine keeping it right there, and just it would have rode out and hit to relative equal lows. And that ended me up, like I put on the, where did I put that here? Yeah. So that trade, it was a negative $7.40, right? I mean, these trades today weren't, I mean, you know, you're not going to get 70, 80, 90 point runs, right? I usually look for 50 plus point plays. And today that price action really, it didn't give you a lot of that, right? So we're looking at, like, even this price came down, took out relative equal lows, even had some plays here, right? So we come down, let's take this off. Let's just clear. We'll start from nothing. So this is where price action kind of came back around. We took out the relative equal lows here, came up, formed a fair value gap. And I think here on a 1 minute, we actually formed a SMT also. Let me check here. So that, I mean, there was some decent trades for 20, 30, 40, maybe 40 points. I mean, if you're scaling out. So let me see here. We were here. I thought, let me check here. One back here. Here we go. So I thought there was an SMT here. Yeah, here and here, right? So we're between here and here, we have SMT. So here we took out relative equal lows, knowing it was going to be choppy back and forth, fair value gap. And on a lower time frame, this, you know, fair value gap, you could have got into a trade here. And even if you're looking down, so with this push up, I guarantee you on a 30-second or a 15-second, there's a market structure shift. Let's check. If you're really checking. Going down here. Yeah, right here. So go market structure shift on 30 seconds. So, you know, it would be basically a model inside a model, you know. So kind of understanding that, the longer you trade, you can kind of notice that these things will occur on smaller time frames. And going back into the 1 minute, here you could have came up, took some, I mean, we have relative equal highs here, you know, another here. And again, these are quick trades in and out. I mean, this at top is like what, 30, if you got in here, you know, 38, 37 points here, you know, 30, 32. So you're talking around 30 something points for each trade, right? So, you know, these are quicker trades. I think here, you know, there was another trade here, price action moved up. You know, we had liquidity here that was taken. Let me see. Let me expand this for you guys real quick. And again, these are super quick. If you're trading on a day like today, you want to make sure you're in and out really quick with these trades. So we're going into here, again, going into 1250, 110 macro. And then you can see here, I think there was an SMT also on this. Between here, let's see, was there an SMT? I thought there was, maybe there wasn't. Here, no, maybe not. So going here, you could see we had some displacement here. This would be a really early entry between the macro. Here we had stronger displacement, market structure shift, pull back up into the fair value gap. Here's liquidity kind of holding that level and push down. So this would have been, I think, an acceptable trade also on the 1 minute. And even if you're going to the 5 here, I think there was an order block that you could see going down during that time. So here, yeah, you could even have waited a little bit longer, higher time frame, push down. This candle closes below that, push back up into a 5 minute order block, down, holds consequent encroachment. So that was a decent trade here. Here, this is also an order block on a 5 minute, 5 minute on order block. There, and you go down to the 1 minute. You know, you can layer these and kind of see, you know, once the push goes down, 5 minute order block, you come up into the 1 minute fair value gap. You know, so I mean, you could even say that's a breaker. push down. This is a breaker too, so overlapping these time frames and knowing that that's a halfway decent trade. And then looking here, let's see the standard deviation, what this would give us if we would have done that. Push down here, two, almost, it almost hits the -4, right? So if you were doing that, you were looking, or I would have done this on a day like today, I would have done a discount, push down, 50%. You could take something off at 50%. But if it's something like this, I would maybe try to go to the 2 level and see where the low would be. Take it off here, then maybe 2.5, and then the lower liquidity right here, and that's about where price went. So it's just your risk tolerance and where you think the move is going to go, and also your size. And there's a couple other trades, but there was one more that I saw here too. That was on the 1 minute that had an SMT. Let me see here. This wasn't right here. Let's see. Oh, that was closer. This is more over. I think it was a little bit. There was one of these where there was an SMT, and it was around. I think it was around. Yep, it was right around here, I believe. Here. Yep. So here and here, right? Another okay trade. Here, again, we're in the macro. What is this? 3 o'clock, 250, 310 macro, SMT, took liquidity, pushing down to these lows. Here you could have waited. Here's a IFVG on the 1 minute. As soon as this pushed through, closed below, you could have taken this trade or waited for it to pull back up. What would be another entry here? Let's see. Let's drop down into like the 30 seconds, see if there's something else here. 30 second, yeah, you could have waited, price moved down here, waited for this to come back up, broke through, put your entry here, price wicks back up. You could have taken some profits off here and then also there. And I'm sure on a lower time frame at the 15 second too, it would have been, you would have seen other entries. Yeah, kind of the same thing, order block, IFVG, push through, back up. So those are just some trades that I saw that were halfway decent, but knowing that when you're trading on these days, which sometimes I have a problem with, is getting in and out really quick, right? Because most of the trades I take, I try to get at least 50 points, closer to like 80, 90, 100 or more. So I'm not taking a bunch of trades every single day, depending on price action. I'm 1 or 2 trades and then out, unless price action, I'm reading it really, really well. So just knowing and mentally being prepared to get in trades and get out, have your targets, take your money and walk away, I think is the best thing to do. And in any of these trades, I always try to find something. If I'm getting in on the 1 minute, like I did with this trade in the morning, that didn't hit, but because I moved my profit target. So if we're coming in here, 5 minute and pushing down, 5 minute order block, for my entry, where the execution that I did today, I always like to have a higher time frame PD array, and SMT, right? For me, I like to have anything with a reversal, moving away. I always like, first of all, finding at the right time, right? So I want to make sure that time is I'm in the right time interval, right? So when I took that trade, it was close to the 950 macro. I knew price was going to relative equal lows, but I always try to have time, a higher time frame PD array, and if SMT is there, great, or like changing the state of delivery on a higher time frame or something like that. I like to have higher time frames, higher time frame narrative for PD arrays before I get into trades. So that was kind of the action today. Again, normally I don't trade this day. I just kind of wanted to get on here and show you guys, these are not all wins. Even that trade, that would have been like 45 points, nothing crazy. But if I would have stayed around, with work, I'm back and forth between the computers. So that kind of took a toll on this trade too, right? I need to make sure that I'm paying 100% attention when I'm in the charts especially on days like this. But just know, NFP these weeks in and out real quick. Pay attention to price action, and I like to look for higher time frame PD arrays and narrative before I get into a trade on the time frame that I'm trading on. So that's it, guys. I'm going to try to continue to do these. If you have any comments or questions or anything that you'd like me to go over, or any other trades, let me know, and I'll try to do videos on them. Again, so I will try to trade tomorrow depending on my work schedule, and if I can do a video, win, lose, or draw, I'm going to give you guys exactly what happens when I trade. I'm not going to show all wins and claim that I'm making all this money. And I don't trade prop firm. I don't trade funded accounts. I trade a cash account. Never traded any of those any prop firms or funded accounts. Everything I do is cash, right? So I think that mentally, and I understand that it does help people create capital in order to trade, right? But I think people use it too much as a crutch and try to get out of the prop firm space, because I think eventually it's going to not be here. I know people in the financial industry, hedge fund people, that think that also. So I think the best thing to do would, get your cash and continue to trade, and then trade your own money. And I think it has a negative effect on your thinking, right? If you get an account and you blow a $20,000 account, that money was never really yours, so I don't think you have the emotional attachment to your own capital. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people that have started in the funding and prop firm and then transitioned out and lost a lot of money because they didn't have the connection as far as like, man, this is my real capital. I know tons of people that trade in the funded space and blow accounts and go back and continue to buy more, and then just keep, getting funded and blow their accounts. And, I think mentally that can kind of hurt you as a trader. So that's kind of, I've had some people ask me, and that's kind of why I trade cash accounts. So hoping I can bring you guys some more information tomorrow, and I hope you guys have a great night. Take care.